corner coming up. Drum roll. Will Big Doug still be here? Yes, he is there. It looks like just as I left him. No difference. Exactly the same. One, 2, 3, 4, 9, 10, 11, 12. That looks good right there. Yeah, I think that'll do. There's a couple of reasons why I'm doing what I'm doing. One of them has to do with the fact that I forgot my wedge, because of course I did. I always forget that. And those of you that saw the last few times I was here, the opposite side of the log that I'm on right now is much more solid, and I'm pretty sure I would need the wedge to split around from that end. But this end has much more rot and is kind of falling apart, as you can see. So this side's a lot easier. And I forgot my tape measure too, which I like to use to make sure my pieces are 14 inches, but all the pieces that I didn't take last time are 14 inches, so I just used one of those as my gauge. So now I know I got 14 inches. All right, we'll see if I can avoid getting pinched here. Guess I'll just cut the next round and then I can get that off of there once that's cut. By the way, for those of you that don't know, I do a lot of chainsaw milling, so I wear my mask when I'm doing that because the exhaust blows off the ground up into my face. Plus there's a lot of fine sawdust and chips and stuff that I don't want to breathe in when I'm so close to it. I started wearing that because of my milling setup, and then it just became a regular thing when I'm doing that. And then it made me realize how much I used to get migraines from the smell of the exhaust. They would get pretty intense at times, so I just started wearing it all the time whenever I use my chainsaw, which looks weird to most people because that's not a thing that people usually do, is wear the type of mask that I wear. But I've never gotten a headache while I'm wearing that, so now I just wear it all the time. And people like to wear the big hard hats with the metal shield over their face for protection. I don't do a lot of tree falling, or felling, however you want to say it. Most of the stuff that I do is already on the ground, so I don't wear a helmet very much. But I feel like that mask also protects my face. If chips or some sticks or something fly and hit my face with my safety glasses, plus that mask, plus the earmuffs, I feel pretty well protected. And again, I don't get headaches, so it's all good. At this point in my life, I have hauled many a truckload of firewood with that Nissan Frontier, and every time it's a little bit different. It's situation dependent, depending on the type of wood, the size of the logs I'm working with, how long it's going to be between when I'm on the road and when I need to stack it, where I'm stacking it, all that stuff. So for this specific log, actually I've done it multiple ways. I've split it just like you saw me do here, and then load the split pieces into the bed. And then I've also thrown big rounds into the bed of the truck. Actually, no, it wasn't this one. It was further down the road. Those are the rounds that I threw in the truck. But the point still stands. Sometimes I put big rounds in if I can lift them without hurting myself. And then sometimes when it's alders that are a manageable size, I'll throw the whole alder log in there and I'll get a truckload of logs, and then I will cut them in the driveway at the cabin. But the way I'm doing it right now, this is my favorite because I do all the dirty work out here. It's all split, it's ready to be stacked. All I have to do is just unload it from the truck. And today I'm not trying to get the maximum amount that I can fit in the truck. I just want to throw them in the bed, and whatever is a safe amount for me to be able to drive down the road at a comfortable speed and not have pieces fly out without tying things down. That's what I'm gonna get. But it's hard to gauge how much I've got right now without throwing it in the truck. So I'm just gonna start tossing it in there and see how much I've got. Close. Still can fit more. Yeah. Crazy piece. That's about it. All right, everybody, made it back to the cabin. Let's check out my current firewood situation. It's completely full except for this part in the front right here. But other than that, it's pretty packed all the way to the back. Look at how tight I've got it packed in there. I haven't shared any of the following footage in my videos because I haven't done anything firewood related in a while because I haven't needed to. But on a random rainy day, I took some time, brought my chop saw out here, and I worked on this huge pile of leftovers from making the cedar shakes for that roof. There's just so many little scraps of cedar, so I cut the ones that could be cut into 12-inch pieces. Now I got this giant stack of kindling here. I got some ideas on what I can do with that in the future, but who knows if those ideas will come to fruition. But it's there in the meantime. And then all the wood that was covered by that green tarp, it was sitting right here, that's all in the woodshed now. All those little skinny pieces are excess from when I did the milling behind the cabin, and I made all these 2x4s that are in the top of the woodshed. They've just been sitting back there and covered by tarps, so I used the chop saw to chop them into 14-inch firewood size pieces, and once they're dry, I'll just burn them. So that truckload of firewood that I just got could fill that space plus maybe a little bit extra, but I don't really need it. So I am going to message Al right now and see if he wants it. So that's one non-heaping truckload from the Frontier unloaded at Al's house. I put this unique piece off to the side so Al can see it. It's shaped like an H because the knot that was in that piece was right there. Al has a really unique ability to take stuff like that and create something out of it. As you can see, if you just walk around his property, there's all kinds of unique stuff everywhere. I want to go up past the sauna cabin here and show you guys his other firewood pile. Looks like he's currently working on this stuff right here. He's always working on firewood, but this one's nice, packed full. Here's the other side of it right here. That big tree is still standing. It's leaning pretty heavy, but it hasn't fallen over yet. And as you could probably guess, Al is not here right now. He's currently on a town trip, but I told him I wanted to stop by and drop this off while I had the opportunity. And he's like, oh yeah, just come by, set it up here in the garage, and I'll put it in the house later on when I get back. Now I'm down by the area where I do my chainsaw milling when I'm here. And it looks like Al drug 2 more logs. This is a big Douglas fir that fell over his driveway. I got some footage of what remains on my way up here. That's a big log right there. There's a lot of firewood in that thing. Al messaged me a picture when that first happened, and he's like, hey, I got some more sawmill logs for you. But I told him, I'm like, hey, let's just utilize that for firewood. I can come over and help you restock your firewood. You might be able to get a full winter's worth out of that one tree. So don't worry about me doing my sawmilling, like just use that for firewood and I'll come over and help you. But of course, he drug these 2 up the driveway. Now that we are fully into the spring season, there's a lot more opportunities to come work outside, come over to Al's, help him with all this stuff. So as I said earlier on in the video, there's a lot of different ways to do this, to split and haul your own firewood. Most people have a hydraulic wood splitter. Not many people do it by hand. Actually, there is a lot of people that do it by hand still, but that's the biggest like criticism that I get is, dude, you need to buy a hydraulic wood splitter. But I've talked about that topic a lot in the past. But to summarize it very briefly, Al has been splitting his own wood for 40 years. And I think that's one of the big reasons that has helped him stay in great shape and be physically active at the age that he is. I think he's 83 now and he's still going strong. So he inspires me to do that, and I just like hand splitting my own firewood. It's very therapeutic for me, which is another reason why I came out and do this. It's been a while since I got firewood. I didn't really need firewood for me specifically because I showed you my woodshed's pretty full, but Al has helped me so much in my life in general over the past few years, and he will not accept any monetary reimbursements. He would never do that, but he will accept my help here and there for chores, and firewood is a big thing that he needs in order to stay comfortable during the winters here in the Pacific Northwest. And he can still do it all by himself, but every year it gets a little bit more difficult, and I have the ability and the tools and the desire and the enjoyment of the process. So the fact that I can help him out and in some way repay him for everything that he's done for me, I enjoy doing it as a whole. And like I said earlier, there's a lot of different ways to do this. What I did in this video overall is probably my favorite way to do it. Split it on the side of the road, stack it in the truck. Don't do a crazy heaping load where I can't close the tailgate. Just get a reasonable amount that's not gonna squat the truck too much. I can close the tailgate. I don't have to tie anything down because everything's heavy enough. It's not gonna blow out the bed of the truck. And as you can see up there, you still get a pretty decent amount of wood. I spent about 3 hours outside yesterday. That includes putting all the tools in my truck, driving to the location, which was about 15 minutes away from the cabin. So that's 30 minutes of just driving back and forth, and maybe like 10-15 minutes of getting the tools ready and then unloading and cleaning the tools. So it's not a whole lot of time of actual work splitting the wood and stacking it. Unloading it from the truck took like 10 minutes up here. So for one person, I didn't exert myself a crazy amount. I wasn't lifting super heavy rounds. I was just taking my time manageably, splitting the wood. I used my heavy maul the whole time, which is more work to lift it and throw it down, but it's less work to like actually strike it down and hit the rounds. So everything you saw in this video is like, that's my favorite way to do it. I had a sharp chainsaw, everything was ready to go. It cut really well. I feel like through all of my experiences so far, and I'm gonna continue to learn. Every time I do something different, I do something new, I learn something. All right, I need to stop talking. I need to wrap up this video. So appreciate you guys checking it out. See you on the next one. Thank you.